My name is Lily Carter, and I grew up thinking my sister was my best friend until I learned she saw every guy I loved as a prize to steal. 4 years, she ruined every relationship I tried to build, until the day I introduced her to a man who finally ended her twisted little games. My name is Lily, and I guess the easiest way to explain my life is this. My sister Chloe walked into every room like she owned the air, and I just tried not to suffocate in it. I remember asking her one night, "Why do you always need to be the center of everything?" And she had laughed, flipping her perfect blonde hair. "Because someone has to be interesting," she said, smirking at me like I was a joke. That kind of thing stayed with me. It still does. My parents made it worse without meaning to. At dinner, Mom would look at Chloe and say, "Sweetie, tell us about your day," and Dad would nod along, smiling like she was some rare creature. When it was my turn to speak, Dad usually cut in with, "Hold on, Lily, just let your sister finish." She never finished. She just kept going. One day, when I was 14, I whispered to Mom, "Do you ever notice she talks over me?" Mom sighed. "She's older, Lily. Let her feel heard." "Do I not get to feel heard?" I asked. Mom didn't answer. That was the first time I felt the sting, but not the last. The Betrayal break happened in 9th grade. I still remember the hallway I was standing in when Ethan, my childhood crush, smiled at me. "You wanna walk with me after school?" he asked. My heart nearly burst. "Yeah," I whispered. "I'd like that." I told Chloe that night. Stupid. So stupid. She raised a brow. "Ethan Reed? Seriously? Why not?" I asked. A little too popular for you," she said softly, like she was comforting me, not stabbing me. "But go ahead. Try." The next afternoon, Ethan texted me, "Hey, maybe another day." I felt confused, so I asked, "Did something happen?" He replied, "Your sister said you weren't that into me." My stomach dropped. I ran downstairs and confronted her. "Did you talk to Ethan?" She didn't even pretend. "Yeah. I wanted to make sure you weren't rushing things." I stared at her. "You told him I didn't like him." She shrugged. "You'll thank me later." She was smiling. Actually smiling. Later that week, I saw her holding Ethan's arm at the football game. When I said her name, she looked at me like I was invisible. "Oh," she said lightly, "Ethan wanted to talk to me. Don't make it weird." I felt myself crack. I went home and locked myself in my room. I buried my face in a pillow so my parents wouldn't hear. What did I do wrong? I whispered to myself over and over. Why does she hate me smiling? But I kept forgiving her. I kept thinking, she's my sister. She loves me. She wouldn't do this on purpose. I told myself stories so I didn't have to hate her. Years went on like that. Every time a guy liked me, Chloe found a way to slide into the picture. She always played innocent with me. "I was just checking on him," she'd say. "I didn't know you were serious," she'd insist. "You're too sensitive," she'd laugh. Once, I asked Dad, "Why does she always text the guys I date?" He shook his head. "Maybe she's trying to protect you." I laughed bitterly. "Protect me from what?" He sighed. "Lily, you overthink things." It felt like the whole world was gaslighting me. But my friends started noticing. Maya pulled me aside one day and said, "Why does your sister flirt with every guy around you?" I whispered, "She doesn't mean to." Harper frowned. "Then why does she only do it with the ones you like?" I didn't know how to answer. One night, I tried confronting Chloe again. "Why do you need to take everything from me?" I asked quietly. She arched an eyebrow. "Everything? Don't be dramatic. You know what you're doing." She smirked. "If they liked you that much, they wouldn't look at me." I felt the breath leave my chest. "So that's it. You do it just to win." She tilted her head. "Winning is fun." That was when I realized she didn't see me as family. She saw me as a threat to her spotlight. I wish I could say I stood up for myself then, but I didn't. I kept shrinking. I kept apologizing for things I didn't do. Every guy who pulled away felt like proof that Chloe was right, that I wasn't enough. By the time I was 18, I avoided dating completely. If someone flirted with me, I panicked. "No thanks," I'd mumble, walking away. Chloe always noticed. Or, what's wrong, she'd tease. Scared I'll steal another one? I didn't respond. It hurt too much. The night everything shifted was painfully ordinary. I was sitting at a cafe, reading, trying to exist quietly, when a voice said, "Is this seat taken?" I looked up and saw him, Noah Bennett. Warm eyes. Soft smile. "No," I said nervously. "You can sit." We talked for an hour. About books. Music. Stupid things. Real things. I laughed more in that one conversation than I had in months. When he asked, "Can I see you again?" my heart thudded. "Yes," I said. "I think I want that." But then fear rose in my chest. I whispered, "Just, don't talk to my sister." He blinked. "Why would I talk to your sister?" I swallowed hard. "Because they all do." He leaned forward. "Well, I'm not they. And I'm not interested in anyone but you." For the first time in years, I believed someone. And that belief changed everything. When I think about the moment Noah became real to me, I always go back to that tiny booth at the cafe. He leaned across the table and said, "You look like you're pretending to be okay." "Are you?" I blinked at him. "Do I look that obvious?" He shook his head softly. "Not obvious. Just familiar." Something in my chest loosened. "I don't really talk about my life." "Then talk about anything else," he said. "I just want to know you." It felt strange, being listened to instead of dismissed. I told him about school, about books I loved, about wanting something better than the life I grew up in. He didn't interrupt once. When I finally asked, "Why are you being so nice to me?" he smiled like the answer was simple. "Because you deserve someone who actually hears you." I should have been happy. And I was, until fear crept in. I whispered, "You're going to meet my sister eventually." He raised an eyebrow. "Okay, and?" I swallowed. "She ruins everything." He leaned back, studying me. "Lily, I'm not interested in anyone who isn't you." I wanted to believe him so badly. I really did. The next week, Chloe barged into my room like she owned it. "Mom said you're seeing someone," she announced, her voice dripping fake excitement. "Why didn't you tell me?" I stepped back from my desk. "Because you don't need to know." She laughed. "Relax, I'm just curious." "What's his name?" A knot twisted in my stomach. "Noah." Her face sparkled in that way I hated. "Noah Bennett." "Oh, cute name." "Chloe," I snapped. "Don't start." She pouted. "Start what?" "You're so dramatic, Lily." "I'm happy for you." But I knew better. She always started with "happy for you." It was the same tone she used before stealing Ethan, before ruining every connection I tried to build. She walked closer. "Show me a picture." "No." "Oh come on," she whined. "Why are you being weird?" "I'm your sister." "Exactly," I muttered. She froze for a second, her smile slipping, but she quickly replaced it. "Fine. Don't show me. I'll figure him out myself." I hated how casually she said it. Like it was a challenge she was excited to win. 2 days later, Noah texted me, "We need to talk." My stomach plummeted. I typed back, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah. Just meet me. Same cafe." When I arrived, he was already seated, tapping his fingers on the table. I slid into the booth and whispered, "You're scaring me." He looked up, jaw tight. "Your sister messaged me." My heart dropped to the floor. "She what?" He pulled out his phone and turned the screen toward me. I saw her name, Chloe Carter, right there, bold and smug. "She added me on Instagram," he said. "Then she sent a DM." My throat felt dry. "What did she say?" He sighed. "At first it was harmless. 'Hey, I'm Lily's sister. Nice to meet you.' Stuff like that." "Classic," I muttered. "Then she said you have a history of insecurity and she wanted to warn me." My breath caught. "She said that. That's not all." He scrolled down. My eyes stung as I read the next message. "If you ever want the truth about her, I can explain. Privately." I whispered, "She always does this. She always has to prove she's better than me." He shook his head. "Lily, listen." I didn't respond. I don't want her. I'm with you. But I couldn't stop shaking. She ruins everything. Every single time. He reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Then let me be the first thing she fails at. I looked up at him. Why didn't you just block her? I will, he said. But I wanted to show you first. You deserve honesty. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Hearing that felt like being seen for the first time. Later that night, I told him everything. Not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't keep the truth buried anymore. We sat in his car outside my house. Rain tapped softly against the windows. He kept his hands in his lap, waiting. I finally whispered, she stole every guy I ever liked. He turned to me. Every, I repeated. Ethan. My first crush. A boyfriend I had sophomore year. Another one junior year. She always said she was protecting me, but she wasn't. She wanted to win. Noah's jaw clenched. That's messed up. I thought it was my fault, I said. I thought there was something wrong with me. He shook his head firmly. There's nothing wrong with you. Chloe's the problem. I laughed weakly. You barely know me. He looked at me with this steady, quiet strength. I know enough. I know you're kind and nervous and brave even when you don't think you are. I know you don't deserve to be treated like competition. My voice cracked. She makes me feel small. He reached out, brushing my cheek with his thumb. You're not small. You've just been overshadowed by someone who needs attention to survive. I didn't mean to cry. But I did, messy, shaking sobs that burned my throat. I'm so tired of losing. Then stop losing, he whispered. Start fighting back. I leaned into him, and he pulled me into a tight, warm hug. His voice was soft against my ear. You're not alone anymore. For the first time, I felt something new, not fear. Not weakness. Something hotter. Sharper. Anger. Not at myself. At her. I wiped my tears and whispered, Chloe's not going to win this time. Noah squeezed my hand. Good. Because I'm not letting her. And in that moment, for the first time in my life, I believed I could fight. I believed someone was finally on my side. I believed Chloe Carter had finally met the one guy she couldn't break. When word about Chloe and Liam spread, people whispered before I even walked into a room. Maya pulled me aside one morning and said, everyone knows what she did, Lily. Finally. I asked quietly, are they judging her? They're shocked, she said. But mostly they're done letting her pretend she's perfect. That same afternoon, I heard Chloe screaming in the kitchen. I walked in slowly. My parents stood at the table, stunned, while she shouted, you're all taking Lily's side. You always take her side now. Dad rubbed his forehead. Chloe, no one's siding with anyone. Yes, you are, she snapped. You think I'm the problem? You think I'm toxic? Mom exhaled shakily. We heard the recording, Chloe. We heard what you said. Chloe spun toward me. This is your fault. You trapped me. You set me up. I stared at her, calm for the first time in my life. I didn't make you say any of those things. She pointed at me like I was poison. You wanted to destroy me. No, I said softly. I wanted you to stop destroying me. Silence hit the room like a brick. Her face twisted, cracking under the weight of the truth she'd run from for years. Dad whispered, Chloe, what have you been doing to your sister? She burst into tears. Nothing. I just. Her voice broke into a sob. She shouldn't be happier than me. Hearing her admit it out loud felt like a door unlocking. I stepped back from her, breathing evenly. I'm not your enemy, I said. I never was. She collapsed into a chair, shaking. For once, she wasn't the golden girl. She wasn't admired. She wasn't feared. She was exposed. Noah walked in through the back door, saw my face, and touched my arm gently. You okay? I am, I whispered. Finally. Later, Maya hugged me tight. Harper said, this is your fresh start, Lily. And she was right. I walked outside with Noah, feeling the air differently, lighter, cleaner. I'm done living in her shadow, I told him. He smiled softly. Good. You deserve the sunlight. For the first time, I believed it. I was free.